what's doing with Korban Pesach this year? Do you think it's going to happen? The odds. Rabbi Bar-Hayim said you need a whole revolution in the way things change. I don't see things are becoming positive. They said politically, people are excited about for some reason certain politicians they said are they're going to bring about a real change in the way things are going. But as you can see, it doesn't seem to be happening. That doesn't. We have to do a lot more if we want to get Korban Pesach on the table. There's I was looking at events here in Israel from America, and I was thinking, I saw what Rabbi Weissman wrote. I'm very upset that people are cynically manipulating the masses. But then again, the people who cynically manipulate the masses have been doing that forever. That's what they do. They always cynically manipulate the masses. I'm surprised by how many people I know, though, have caught on to these things. How many people were excited about whatever the thing was that they're being told about which to get agitated in America and in Israel. I see too many people. Thanks to Facebook, I wouldn't see these people here in Kochav Yaakov, right? It's not the type of place. And I wouldn't see those types of people, let's say, where I visit my parents. But I do know of people. They're in Jerusalem. They're in Gush Dan. Gush Dan is Metro Tel Aviv. Mm-hmm. And other places in America who, for some reason, are always duped by whatever the current thing is. And they go along with it 100%. And that's not good. And that's a big problem. So I'm upset at the people who are manipulating them because these people don't know any better.
I was at the Gunsacher rally 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there too, there's a lot of that kind of thinking.
Yeah,
I think it's like both sides are waving Israeli flags, and they're saying, like, in many ways the way they promote what they want to say are on very similar lines. This is better for democracy. This is better for this. It's like none of this is the point. What does Hashem want? What us to do? How should we be think? What does the Torah say? But that's not part of the discussion. It's all, the current thing.
Us versus them. As a matter of fact, I compare these political things to basically color war. You guys remember color war?
Yeah.
You don't know? You never had a color war? Summer camp or in high school or something. Color war. No, wow. Been deprived, man. Okay. So should I describe what color war is? You take the student body. Let's say you take the summer camp. Okay, the summer camp, whatever age it is. Somehow, where there's a crazy stunt happens, and no one predicts. Like it's usually set up by the counselors or the head counselor, and then they declare color war. That's it. They divide up the student body into at least 2 teams, and the 2 teams are just represented by random colors, like red and blue team. That's it. Sometimes you could have multiple teams in the color war. You could have 3 or 4. But what I remembered from the summer was the entire day camp is divided up for a few days into a color war. And it lasts until the big shebang, usually at the end. And the 2 teams have all sorts of competitions. And like I said, everybody from all the age groups, they're divided. You're either on red team or on blue team. And you do everything for your team. And there's going to be all sorts of competitions. If it's summer, so there's a swimming competition and the baseball competition and the relay races competition, whatever other stuff. I remember they used to have in color war. And then there's the thing that the counselors have to do, the banner and the team song and the other things. And by the time I was an obnoxious young teenager, I really hated this type of stuff. So I was very cynical about it and tried to undermine my team and all sorts of things like vulgar chants and, taunting the other team and giving a pep speech about how I remember this. It's, that whole thing about it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. It's sportsmanship. And I said, it's all nonsense. The only reason why you ever play is winning, and losing really hurts. And everybody hates losing. And all you want to do is win. So you're going to win. Yeah, okay. So color war, I took a cynical approach, but that's what color war is. Color war, for some reason, like it's been shown by many people who have studied the human condition, psychology, have seen that when you create a situation of us versus them, people really get into it. Remember the wave? We try to see, how did Nazism pick up? How does anything pick up? Because when it becomes an us versus them issue, suddenly it's like, oh, now you do everything. So unfortunately, politics are fed to us if you're especially plugged into mass media. So thank God, I got disconnected years ago. So I don't feel like, let's say in America, there are some people who are really excited about whatever their color is doing politics-wise. Some people are not. That's why I had friends who were celebrating the results of certain elections. I never really care who I vote for in America or in Israel. It's more like, the lesser of 2 evils, just because the rabbi told me to, and I appreciate him, so I'll give him my vote. Or I gave my vote to my father wanted me to vote for someone, so I voted for him. But not for myself, or the rabbi did. Whoever it was, I didn't care. It wasn't my guy. But there's some people who celebrate the results of elections. Some people mourn the results of elections because to them it's all like this. They are on this side and everybody else is on that side. And you have people on all sides. America, it's basically red versus blue. And some people are like, I watch TV and this I'm going to go down 100%. I'm blue and all that. There are people who are proud registered Democrats and there are people like Republican all the way. That's nonsense. And here in Israel, it's even worse, especially because they keep changing the colors in the teams, but still there are people like, I'm straight like this and that's it. And it's pretty bad. In Israel, we have multiple teams. There's a multiple team color war. There's the black team, guys who know are on the black team. And there's the green team. Guys know are on the green team. That's the far left. And the blue team, the people are just nationalist flag wavers, right? Whatever it may be, whether religious or secular, whatever. State of Israel all the way. The black team obviously is the Orthodox, so-called ultra-Orthodox parties. And
they're also culturally integrated on a much deeper level.
Yeah, so all this political nonsense is basically a color war. And right now we're seeing a color war. And one team was really threatened. The team that's winning the color war saw that the other team is really going to hit back, and it turned out all its power could to win this color war competition. And I guess they did this week, so that's good for them. But it doesn't. Either way, people like us who don't have a team end up losing anyways, because we're still in a situation like you said. What does Hashem want? Okay, and like you see in the Siddur Yisrael, it doesn't say Haser mimeno yagon v'anacha. That's great. Remove from us sorrow and anguish. The yagon is sorrow, and anacha is moaning from anguish. It's the literal expression of a person's anguish. And instead, what is it? The Siddur Yisrael says, what does your Siddur have? Kalei shofatim shotrim ra'im Yisrael. Get rid of the shofatim and shotrim ra'im. Get rid of the bad judges and the bad policemen from Israel. What? Yeah, machloket gersaot.
No,
also between the states.
Yeah. And Rav Tzuriel wrote some notes in my Siddur. He says, in this nusach and all that, he has a few things I could show to you. Very proud that I have that. Like he might have written the notes and not realized it before he handed over the Siddur. So he has notes there. And yeah, there's a few gearsas, but the point is, we lose. Okay. No matter who wins, they have a color war. It's really a war is happening.
Well, we lost even more in this way, I would say. Let's be real.
Okay. Yeah. But so you just have to think about God. Last night I was trying to sleep because I'm jet lagged. And I had a thought about something about an old movie. I told my wife afterwards, I said, that's the most not God thing I could have thought of. Do you know how hard it is being in America to think about lofty things? And then we have to think about how, I think the rabbi had a shir, he says, we're a God-centered religion. Shivisi Hashem lenegdi samid. That's an interesting word, shivisi. It's a PL and it's past tense. What's the shorish there? Shin vav taf. Right? Shivisi. Shiwithi. So the way it's built, there's a dot in the vav, and there's a chirik under the shin, so it's a regular PL. It's like dibarti, or and the shorish is shin vav hey. Sorry, shin vav hey. Yeah. Oh, it's in the whatever that is, but it's a very rare term. It seems to be a PL from the pa'al of shaf, which also is very rare. It's right at the beginning in Bereshis. Why is Shaith called Shaith? Shafli Elohim. Yeah. Well, yeah. Or he established, gave me. In this case, it just means placed. Okay. Lo shafli bo gam lazo. He didn't place his heart to this. So it's a very strange verb. But it means you're supposed to put God in front of you, right? Just to imagine. I heard from Kabbalists what you do is you imagine the Shem Hashem written in front of you in big red letters. Have you heard this? Mm-hmm. Really, the way you should imagine it, Al-Pi Kabbalah is, I'm not a Kabbalist, but I've been told this a few times. You can imagine the way to understand God is imagine the Shem of Forest there, written in front of you in big red letters, Ksav Ashuris, and it should be with the Nikud of the word Yirah, which is Chirik Shiva Kamatz. That's, remember, fear God. The Nikud tells you what you should be thinking, fearing God. So you can just imagine God's name, so to speak, dwell on that. I don't know if that's the right thing to do necessarily. I'm just telling you what they claim. And you should know that. And how many times do we not aware of God? If we're thinking about a movie, that's the most not God thought you could have. You should be thinking about Torah or something. Here, Torah. Try to imagine that God's actually in front of you. By imagining, really he is in front of you. By imagine, I mean what? That you actually have to comprehend it. What is a pretender? You guys heard about a pretender to the throne? What pretend means? It's an interesting English verb. Normally, pretend is like what children do: play house, pretend you're an astronaut. When you say guy's pretending, you have, let's say, someone who's the son of the former king, and the king was deposed in some sort of revolution in 17th century Europe, and now he's sitting in some foreign country and he's trying to build an army and get sponsorship. He's going to go back to his home country and retake the throne. So that's what's called a pretender. Okay, he has pretenses. He wants to take back the throne. He's the pretender. Once upon a time in Europe, there was a guy, I think it was in France or something, there was the pretender, someone who thought to take back, I think, the throne in England. So they called him the pretender. In that case, you also pretend that God is in front of you, not because it's make-believe, but make-believe like children and Mr. Rogers. I mean, you have to make yourself believe it. You really have to pretend that way. You have to imagine. In that case, it's not a fiction. It's a truth to which we have difficulty comprehending. So you have to get to there.
We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. If you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.